Perfect Dirt Podcast, episode 195, Lamar, Human Resources.
Well, we visit the days of a working person and combine it with sci-fi elements. And you kind of brought this up, maybe a metaphor for life,
We'll talk
maybe.
about that, yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Well, Lamar, would you care to explain our first category, which is the story?
In this movie, we have kind of the frigid main character, Sam Coleman. He's down on his luck. He's trying to find a job. He keeps on getting, turned away. And then he gets hired by Brooks. It's just a hardware store. But unfortunately, he starts noticing some weird things going on. Weird liquids, weird customers running around, and doors they can't go into. He finds out that there's weird beings that are being held by this place.
Is it the souls of the past workers or something?
That's the problem I have. It's not fully explained what it is. Because what you just said, like the past, workers, like their souls or something like that, but that's never really like tied into like the plot or explained well. So it's just like, what are these things?
For me, this movie, I get what it was trying to do, but I don't think that they actually did it.
Exactly. That's how I feel. It's like it's almost there. It's kind of like they forgot a little seasoning in the recipe. Yeah.
And it's an hour and 48 minutes, and it's kind of slow paced. It's moving, it's doing a thing, but you never really get anywhere, I felt.
Until the very end.
Yeah. So what do you give it for story?
I would love to give this, because I see what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
I have to give it half a point.
I agree. It is a half a point. There was an idea there, and there was a vibe, but it was just kind of boring, I guess. I don't know. Half point. Yeah. Okay. Next category is what we thought of the characters.
Well, we have Sam Coleman. He's just scared all the time.
Yeah, a little overly scared, I guess.
It gets a little annoying.
He's very anxious, that guy.
Then we have Sarah, who's kind of like your typical person that hates their job, but they know they have to keep on going.
Yeah.
And then you have Gene, who's the kind of the manager, who's the uppity guy. Everybody's kind of annoyed by him.
I mean, I thought the characters were actually pretty good. They gave them all something different to do. Acting wise, it was hit and miss, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll give them a half a point for characters. They were okay characters.
I'll give them a 1.
Okay.
Because I see what they were trying to do, even though Sam Coleman kind of got on my nerves, just how he looked all the time. He always looked greasy and scared.
Greasy?
Yes, he did. As a black man, you got to watch that. You got to, you can't just...
Is that true? Because I didn't know that.
I don't know. That just bothered me because he's the one black person in the movie and he's always looking so shiny. And it's like, did they do something wrong with his makeup or something? And I was like, come on. It's like me. You can't use the same stuff for everybody else because I have a big forehead. So you got to like decloss my forehead or it's going to shine all the time.
So when you go out, like you have to make sure you're not overly shined.
If I'm on camera, I got a little shine here, but that's why the light is over here. Imagine if it was here.
Well, I'm glad you came to that realization, Lamar, because sometimes you blind me when we're doing the podcast.
I thought it was just up here. If I turn, then you got something.
The problem. Glossy Lamar. Okay. Well, next category is, this is an interesting category. What do we think of the cinematography?
I liked it. I thought it was great. I thought it was shot well. I thought the shot composition was great because I think something we don't talk about too much in like horror movies is that the shot composition really makes things spooky. And this movie had that.
It did.
I mean, it wasn't backed too greatly by the story, but it did have, certain lighting, certain shots, certain foreground, background, all that stuff. Whoever shot this was great.
Yeah. It goes back to what we were saying with the first category. They were going for a very specific vibe. And I think that's where they landed the best was with how it looked. 1 point?
Yes, 1 point.
Next category, special effects. Lamar, take it away.
Okay, let me say this. We go back to the vibe. The vibe is there. they show the creatures at the end.
Yeah.
I felt like they went they're a little lazy. Like it wasn't they had masks and like smocks on. I didn't see how that tied into Brooks. Like,
well, it goes back to that they used to be workers there, right?
We don't know.
Well, that's what I took away from it, I guess.
I don't know. Sure, they were workers there.
So, well, whatever they were, but they were. I'm pretty sure they were workers there, and so they transform, but they just wear masks, right?
It would have been better if they would have had all the smocks on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they were all wearing like the smocks from like the different ages of like Brooks, that would have made more sense. But it's just like they just had orange, full, whatever, inpatient wear. It was in if they could have made them up or something like that, you know?
Yeah, there was some practical effects in the movie, though.
There were
decent fake blood and things. Some makeup effects. I don't know what to say because I feel like they did the best with what they had, but at the same time, I was unimpressed by any of it. I don't know. Like, well, I guess a half point. I don't know.
Half point for me. Yes.
Yeah. But the next category, there is something to say about it, Lamar. What did we think of the metaphorical aspects of this movie?
I guess what they're trying to say is like, you don't want to get stuck in life. You don't want to settle. You want to shoot for, the goal. You want to not take the safe route or you'll be trapped at Brooks and stuff like that.
That goes against everything you believe in, Lamar, right?
How does that go against everything?
You've said that in the past, no?
What?
Not to chase your dreams and all that stuff.
I will say this. I didn't know we were going to get into fucking...
Well, we're talking about metaphorical stuff now.
I didn't know we were going to get into my philosophies. I just said you can chase after your dreams, but if you don't, it's like not the total failure of life. Like you can be happy and be content. Well, but this movie is saying...
in this movie, Lamar.
This is what they're saying. Well, they're saying in this movie, go for the gusto. Because Sam wants to be... He's in medical school. Yeah. Sarah jokes around. Dr. Sam and stuff like that. So yeah,
going off what you said, it's a metaphor for like getting into like the working class, the 9 to 5, the grind and all that stuff. The manager of the hardware store, he ends up being this evil overlord to the souls of the previous workers, and I think that's a metaphor for like the working system that we have in the country and stuff. Well, we could, if we're not overthinking it, I would say like, okay, it's kind of a cool metaphor to do it this way. So I'll give him 1 point.
I agree. Yes.
Well, Lamar, we tally the score and Human Resources gets a 3.25 out of 5.
Seasonings. They're missing something a little bit.
It's okay. It's like we said before, it's almost there. It's just like...
So if we're going off of recommendations, I would say this. This is something you put on in the background.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But it's not like I would deter people away from it. I would just be like, if you're waiting for, the server to connect for, and on some online gaming, just throw this on, just, yeah.
Yep. That's pretty much what I did. So
there you go.
So, all right. Well, Human Resources. Does that wrap it up, Lamar?
Pretty much.
Peace.
Deuces.
Don't chase your dreams.
I never said don't chase your dreams. I said it's okay not to chase your dreams.
You said that if you had a kid, you would tell your kid not to chase his dreams.
I would say, look, you can chase your dreams, but don't hate yourself if you don't make it. I think people put this thing in their brain where it's like super extreme. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be this. And it's like, bruh.
Well, Lamar, I've chased my dreams, and here I am, sir, on the Perfect Turd podcast.
No, you're not supposed to say that if you're arguing against what I'm saying. You're supposed to say, yes, kids, go get your dreams.
Kids, look, this is it. If you chase your dreams, you'll end up with a very bitter co-host on a podcast.
You're supposed to argue against my point, Joe. Jesus.
Oh,